They say intelligence shines brightest when it's silent. But sometimes, it speaks, and when it does, the whole room listens. It was a crisp Thursday morning on Capitol Hill, and the House Oversight Committee hearing was already tense. Cameras rolled, microphones hissed, and the room buzzed with political friction. But among the suited crowd, Representative Jasmine Crockett sat still, calm, grounded, and alert. She wasn't there to make a spectacle. She was there to do her job, to serve, to listen, and to speak truth when it mattered. But not everyone shared that spirit. Across the room sat Representative Elise Stefanik, eyes sharp, tone clipped, and ready to pounce. A rising conservative star known for her calculated jabs, Elise had a reputation, and she was about to add to it. Without warning, she leaned into her mic. "Representative Crockett," she began, "perhaps if you spent less time on hair and headlines and more time understanding the Constitution, you'd grasp what's actually at stake here." Gasps echoed through the chamber. The insult wasn't veiled, it was personal, meant to sting. The room tensed. Clips of the moment were already on social media, drawing the kind of rage-fueled engagement that cable news producers loved. But Jasmine didn't flinch. Because this wasn't the first time she'd been underestimated. She calmly adjusted the mic, looked Elise square in the eyes, and smiled, not out of politeness, but out of something deeper. Strength. Grace. "I'm glad you brought up the Constitution," she said, voice even. "Because I carry it in my purse. Not for show. For protection. Against ignorance, against injustice, and against those who confuse loudness for leadership." The room went still. "And as for my hair," she continued, her voice rising only slightly, "it doesn't define my intelligence. But the fact that you think it might says a lot about yours." Elise opened her mouth, but no sound came out. What followed wasn't applause, it was something heavier. A pause. A reckoning. In that silence, something shifted. Jasmine didn't gloat. She didn't smile smugly. Instead, she reached into her purse, pulled out a worn copy of the Constitution, and slid it forward on the table. Just enough for the cameras to catch it. After the hearing, as staffers and reporters packed up, a young intern named Clara approached Jasmine, nervously clutching a notepad. "Congresswoman," she said, "I just wanted to say, thank you. For not stooping. For speaking like someone who sees people." Jasmine looked up. Her eyes softened. "I see you," she said. "Because someone once saw me. That's how we pass it on." Clara blinked, fighting back tears. Jasmine placed a hand gently on her shoulder before walking away, steady, tall, unrattled. Later that night, a photo of that moment, the Constitution, the quiet dignity, the frozen expression on Elise's face swept through social media with the caption, "This is what leadership looks like." Not long after, donations surged to programs Jasmine had quietly championed for years, one supporting civics education in underfunded schools. A retired teacher from Vermont wrote, "You've reminded me why I still believe in decency." The story stopped being about the insult. It became about the answer. And here's the twist: Elise never publicly commented on the exchange. But weeks later, a quiet aide confirmed, she started carrying her own pocket Constitution. Sometimes, a comeback isn't just a clapback. Sometimes it's a mirror. And sometimes, when someone expects rage, what stuns them most is restraint. Because the most intelligent voice in the room isn't always the loudest. It's the one that knows when to speak and why. And in that moment, Jasmine Crockett reminded the world that kindness is not weakness. It's courage. It's clarity. And above all, it's power. In a time full of noise, she chose grace. And that, in the end, is what left them speechless.